No.
Fuck, we just started.
Did we start?
We just started.
I'm just replying to my mom about Corona.
Jonas, why did you do that? Like, I haven't even removed my stuff.
No!
But we have to, if we do it all at the same time, it's not going to be the same though.
Why?
Because it's not going to be as loud of on the meter.
You have done it. It's the rule. We can't just go away from the rule. You clapped. This is your fault. If the video becomes, I'm just
But
kidding.
Karim, we need to tell them who did the clapping.
Oh
Who
yeah,
clapped?
right. We always forget
Yeah.
about presenting people.
So this
because we
week-
know them so well.
Yeah, so this week we have another guest, our third guest, Mr. Jonas
Hi.
Jonas Bogsjö.
Bogsjö, yes.
Woo!
That would peak in the mic.
That was that was the greatest reaction I ever heard to my name ever. I think actually in
That's
my
awesome.
lifetime. Yeah.
But I think we've talked about Jonas a couple of times.
Really?
Like
I
probably.
name dropped him, yeah.
Because we talk about stuff that happens in school and stuff like that.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
we probably have mentioned you in some kind of way. But Jonas, do you want to tell us what movie we're gonna talk about this week?
Yes, of course. We're going to talk about the movie Midsommar by Ari Aster. It was actually not only directed by him, but he also wrote it. And it stars Florence Pugh, Jack Rayner, William Jackson Harper, and Willem Blågren and Will Poulter. And it's about a group of friends who travel to Sweden for a festival that occurs once in every 90 years and find themselves in the clutches of a pagan cult.
Oh, and this we relate to it a bit too much, or
A year? No?
oh, you mean yeah, of course.
To the
We
movie, yeah.
celebrate it, I guess.
Yeah.
Once a year, not the cult,
Not the cultish
but-
thing, but yeah, we celebrate Midsommar every year.
But we're Swedes, so
Yes.
So
this
it's very
movie-
special. It's very special.
We have some
special for
expertise in this subject, and I just have to say it's 100% accurate. So we sacrifice Americans.
And the elderly dies because
Yes.
you know Sweden people are very healthy when they grow old, and we're like, why live 15
Yeah.
years more? Why not just die directly?
Exactly. Like if you feel like you're done with your life, why should you not just have to decide like by yourself when you want to end it?
Just jump, lol.
Then someone down there was like, kiss, and they're like, okay, do a flip.
It's kind of like that joke. Like, have you ever seen that joke online where they say like, if Justin Bieber would stand on a skyscraper and it's about to jump, some people would be shocked. Like if you would stand down with popcorn and look at it and say jump.
Yeah, true. But to jump into this movie,
Jump into
God
the
damn
movie.
it. God damn it. To jump into this movie, something that we have discussed a lot and something that we think is so powerful with how Ari Aster makes horror films
Yeah.
is the way that he, of course, makes horror films and the stories that surround drama.
Yeah.
That the horror surrounds drama. How do you think, like, in comparison to Hereditary,
Yeah.
does this? Because it's almost too bad that I'm actually going into this directly, because it's one of the reasons that I think you like Hereditary more.
Okay.
It's how much the drama is like around, like the horror is around the drama.
Yeah.
Do you like the? Okay, first of all, do you like the drama of this movie? That it's the horror.
Yeah, I think it's great because the thing is, like both of his movies and even his short movie, The Strange Thing About the Johnsons, revolves around relationships, and Hereditary is about relationship between a family, more so a son and a mother, and this one is rather more between a man and a woman, and I think for me. I'm relate more to the family part because of I'm not going to say I've been having it bad when I've been growing up, but it relates to me more because it's more what you see. Everybody can have a bad relationship, but not everyone has that experience of a relationship because it's just very specific, and I think not everyone noticed it when they watched it the first time because they're just looking at the horrific stuff. But really, the story about Midsommar is about a deteriorating relationship that's not going in the right direction, and how Chris, the boyfriend, like gaslights. What's her name again?
Danny?
Danny, yeah. Like he always makes her believe that it's her fault in what she does, and like, I don't think that's that many movies that talk about this, but I think it's kind of forgotten for some people that don't like it, because I think that's one of the main points, and that's the drama in the movie, and then the horror is written around it, in the same way that the relationship and the loss in Hereditary is written around in that one.
It's really special though how they portray the relationship, because I felt like, at least watching it the second time, there was like the minute stuff that they did, and how he reacted to what she was saying. Like it was very small things that he did,
exactly,
and how they communicated to each other that felt really real.
Yeah, exactly.
And it felt super deep into how you should, like, you know, how relationship are built as something that I've also felt in Marriage Story. I don't know if anyone.
I haven't seen it. No,
it's it's really good, and it's really based on, it's overhyped, not overhyped. It's a good movie, but the movie is based on the acting. Yeah, it's not like, the story is not extraordinary. It's about two people getting divorced. Yeah, but the acting and the small things that happen between them, and just the pauses and how they interact. Exactly, and the energy they give off to each other. Yeah, it's all there is in that movie. Yeah, and it feels like they use that to build something even deeper. That there's, like, you know, grunging in the rest of the film. Okay. Something that, that's okay. So getting back to what I was getting at. Yeah. I think, because we talked about it before, you like Hereditary more. Yeah. And Hereditary is like an awesome film, and it's it's one of the most influential movies I've seen this year. Yeah. And it's a really good, not just like, it's not, I don't see it as horror. I feel it as it's more of a psychological movie. Yeah. But in Hereditary, you get the drama all through the film. Yeah. In Midsommar, the drama builds up in the beginning. Yeah. But then is like, it's almost let go, and then you see how the, you know, the flash, or how it's like the start of the fire becomes this huge problem, or like how it interferes with everything else that they go through. Okay. Yeah. Do you feel like that's why you like Hereditary more?
Not really, because I would say, because for Midsommar, I don't really feel like they let go of the drama, because it's more that it's very subtle. It's not like in your face. Like, I think in Hereditary it's more like in the front, but because most of it is in her reactions to everything that Christian says or does. She's like super not surprised, but it's like she's super like intimidated and shocked in the way he reacts to, or the loss of reaction he has of not being more shocked of the death of two characters in the movie. Or the sort of ritual, but that's one of the things that they flesh out more in the director's cut. So that's one of the things that we miss out, because we actually have more of an actual fight between Christian and Danny that happens after the sacrifice, the jumping scene, and that there you actually have him actually reacting and actually like kind of get angry at her. Okay. And I think that actually adds more to the relationship part that the theatrical cut misses out on.
That's interesting. Yeah. That's interesting that because I didn't feel like there was nothing like missing to Christian. I felt like that his character had his arc, or he was like pretty, not plain, but emotionally wasn't. Yeah, okay. And you know, he's like this typical, you know, dude like just wanna like hang out, like have a cool girlfriend, like I don't have time or effort to do this shit.
Yeah, I mean, the scene that establishes him is the one where he just says we're smoking weed and eating some pizza, you know. And he just wants to have a chill relationship, not so much drama.
No, exactly. And the first time, like even the scene that it more established him like as a character is the scene where they come home from the party and the way he act. Like that's a typical gaslighting scene. Because that is so funny.
Maybe you should explain what do you mean by gaslighting.
Gaslighting is kind of a manipulation. It's when you use someone's flaws or their insecurities against them. Sort of say like, let's say if you're insecure about something and we're having a discussion or something and we get mad at each other and then I use that against you, that could be gaslighting. Or actually, like if you didn't do something and I said I was okay with it, and then when you asked about it, like if I do it instead, if I promise you to do it, then I would rather instead say that no, we said that you would do it, and then I kind of like keep going at it and make it seem like it was your fault. That's gaslighting. It's a sort of a manipulation, and it's more. I've actually experienced it myself in a way. So. But I think it's super common, and I don't really think that most people recognize it as a sort of thing because you don't really think about that in people, and I think that's why that more people relate to the movie because they're not aware how like what gaslighting is and how it works, and because it's only very visible in that scene, and then it's more like less. It's not super subtle in the rest of the movie.
Well, well, I think the first time they use that is when he tells her, "You're letting her like you're." She calls him, my sister sent me this weird mail or whatever.
Yeah,
and he's like, "You're letting her do this. She does this all the time.
Yeah,
as if it's her fault for caring about
exactly
her sister.
Yeah. But I think they show that like because when the problem is. That when you are in a relationship, you get like very subjective to everything that's happening, and you miss a lot of what's going on from like another point of view.
Exactly,
and that's why people have a hard time. You know, when if you were together with a girl, I will be telling you like this, dude. She's abusing you. You should like rethink stuff or something like that. People would be like very defensive, and they wouldn't understand it. And I think that's what you mean with that. There's like a divided group of people watching this movie. Either like understand the setup, or they don't understand the setup,
and then they don't understand the rest of the movie either.
Yeah, exactly. And that was something that I saw in a like a review.
Yeah,
where he was like, "Yeah, well, the first 20 minutes." was meaningless.
Okay, yeah.
Like I don't understand. Like they go into this setup that they don't talk about for the rest of the film, and I'm like,
that's the base of the movie.
What? That's the whole drama. That's the whole thing.
The character.
Yeah.
We go into Sweden knowing what these characters are.
Yeah.
Somewhat.
It's even funny that because on the backside of the Blu-ray that we watched, at least yesterday when we watched it, it says that she goes unwillingly to Sweden, but she actually goes along to Sweden in order to like boost and up herself because of the death of her sister. So it's not even correct on the backside of the Blu-ray.
It makes sense why she does go. Yeah. And it makes sense why he says, "Oh yeah, I told her to come,
but she's not gonna come."
Do
you think the Blu-ray was meant to be wrong, or?
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good question, actually. Yeah, it could be. It's a good question, actually, but I'm not sure. But it could be because he's very decisive and he's very planning. Like when I read it so many times now, but it's a quote from the Hereditary. It's. Toni Collette, who was one of the main actors in Hereditary, she called Ari Aster one of the most prepared directors of all time. And since he wrote it and directed, it's not super like, how would I say it, inimaginable that he actually would actually set up that the backside of the explanation or the synopsis is wrong in order for this is something, and then you go into it and it's something else.
Like his movies feel like one of those movies that that literally everything and every decision makes sense.
Yeah,
like The Shining.
They're planned.
Like The Shining,
like they're specifically planned to like go in a certain direction. He knows if I do this, this will happen, and like he's like pinpointed everything,
and it becomes like really clear.
Yeah,
in the
it's like a domino effect, so to speak.
It becomes like it's not only the the reactions or what they say or what happens.
No,
it's the minor things like why they shot that picture from that angle.
Yeah,
why they stayed exactly that long and not longer. The picture when she's on the phone.
Yeah. Which one? Which
the first dialogue between her and Christian.
Yeah.
We only see her part.
Yeah. We don't even see him.
And it's a super long take.
Yeah.
Where we only hear him through the phone.
Yeah.
No cuts, no nothing.
No cuts, no nothing. And if we showed that to Sylvia, she would be like, "Yeah, well, I'm missing the person talking to her. I'm missing a cut here."
Yeah.
She want to see everything and nothing.
Yeah. That's like she doesn't have the context to it. And watching the movie, then you understand that, well, they stayed on her to show
how she's feeling at the moment, like showing her different, like how she's going up and down during this, because it's like a roller coaster for her.
Yeah, but how absent he is.
Yeah.
He's not even in the picture.
Exactly.
I also got the feeling that they established that she is the main character.
Yeah.
That the others are a main cast, but not the main characters.
Exactly. It's about her.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like the movie's about her.
There's a lot of just like very slow portrait pictures.
Yes.
Like medium shots of people. Like an example, the moving shot when they just took mushrooms.
Yep.
That it, like gets super close into her. Like those pictures, like sometimes when they're at the table and they're gonna eat, get these like really as like you're observing someone at their entirety, from far away, and like you're seeing this person contrasted to everything behind them.
Yep. But like, did you know like why they choose to use mushrooms in the movie?
No, I have no idea.
Like, do you understand that? Like, do you like? I have to ask you though. Because I was gonna say, like, how did you feel about, since like we watched it twice now? I watched the director's cut and the theatrical cut now. So, and he's watched it twice, kind of.
Yeah, I just watched the theatric.
Yeah, but you watched it for the first time. Like, how did you feel about like the specific parts or like
what do you mean
the movie as a
specifically?
whole?
Like the use of shrooms or the?
Yeah, not just anything.
So I was going into this movie just knowing it's gonna be a horror.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be something messed up with this cult.
Yep.
And I knew that we're gonna die and something. But I didn't know it's going to be played out this way of them being converted into the cult.
Yep.
And those who didn't get converted became a jester, became a like a hen thing.
Sacrificed, yeah.
Sacrificed, yeah. And just seeing like the decisions the characters made. For example, Christian, he just gave in.
Yeah.
He knew he's going to get killed and everything. He just gave in and didn't do anything. I don't know if it was because he was drugged to his mind.
Yeah.
Or if it was just because he said, I just gave up, Also how like Danny, like he gave in to it too. And just became one of them. That was unexpected because I thought it was going to be, the classic, we need to get out of here, Christian. And then just like getting the hell out of there.
But did you feel that it wasn't, like it wasn't like there was no reason for her to
No, there was
convert,
a reason.
or did you feel like it was... it made sense.
But it made sense because,
or doesn't?
like the sub story of the movie was about family.
Yeah.
Was about her losing her family. The only family she got is pretty weird, like Christian acting a bit weird.
Yeah.
He's looking at I forget the redhead's name.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
The redhead girl that he impregnates.
It's I don't know.
Yeah, that he just like, looking at other girls, stuff like that.
Maya, I think it's Maya.
Maya.
Yeah.
So she's constantly thinking, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
Should I be here? Should I be home with him? Should I like break up with him?
Yeah.
She constantly fights with these things.
Yeah.
And at some point, I think it was when she becomes the May Queen, sitting there at the table, she realizes that everyone there is for her.
Yeah.
And they're all a big family, and she sees that Christian stands out.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he's the only one not in white, and he acts weird and everything.
Yeah.
So she decides I'm gonna stay here. And then when she gets the decision to kill him off, she just goes through with it.
It's super interesting that you see like that decision as her accepting her new family. You know, it's not about her letting go of him, or like that she's like, oh, you didn't give me, like, or you were bad, or you cheated or something.
No, I don't think so.
It's super interesting. I
mean,
really like that.
She obviously got like super sick and started to puke when she saw that he was cheating with her and everything. But just like also that scene where she's just crying on her bed. She has all of her, I guess, sisters around her.
Yeah.
And they just all comforting her by breathing in sync.
And then doing the same thing. Like they all do the like, I'm not sure what it's called in English, but they exhale like extremely, and they kind of like have the hyperventilating with her, and then kind of have the seizure with her, like or like panic attack.
They're sharing the pain.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought that scene was super powerful, though.
Yeah,
it was like we watched it in the school cinema.
Yeah,
and I really felt the stress of the characters just because all of them just share this pain.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was just beautiful. Yeah.
To show like kind of she wasn't alone in it.
Yeah, that was a really powerful moment, and I did like. It's not that I didn't understand, but I didn't understand the powerfulness of how the community, the commune, was built on like not only unity and like we stand together, but like living as a single organism, together, and that like and that. Per se, is such an amazing way to show the unity of a family, and like mirrors in such an amazing way how she wants people, like, you know, when you feel alone or like you're going through sadness or something like that you need to feel like someone is not comforting you, but understanding the pain that you're going through.
Exactly.
Or just accepting that you're going through this pain and telling you that's okay to go through.
Yeah.
So, like, props for having such an amazing, like, turning something cult-wise.
Yeah.
And taking the basis of that and telling and taking it to something dramatic as a family.
Yeah.
You know, a unity of a commune.
Yeah.
That's a cult.
Yeah.
You know, something like. It's very scary, and like taking it and showing it off against how families are shown.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, as you watched a movie before and talked about a movie before here that shows a cult, like, as you watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
For like the series, and the thing is, it shows a cult like completely differently. Like this shows a cult in a very positive way most of the part, and they like not even by the end it seems like it's a bad thing. Like they're like this is what they do.
They have their.
It's based in
traditions.
something. Yeah, they have the traditions, and it's not something that's gonna change. And it's not like you see that they're like specifically look crazy or something. This is what they do. It seems all natural, and you kind of like if you're into this and really accept the story, you're gonna
understand.
like accept it. You're gonna accept it that that's how it is.
But it doesn't like make it okay that they also killed. Like people, you know.
No, of course not. But that's not what I'm saying.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, totally. But it's still that you get almost romanticized by their politic and how they think about stuff.
Yeah. What I was gonna say before for you, Victor, is that I don't really think that he gave in like Christian, because the thing is, because the relationship is how it is. Like it's falling apart. Like of course it's falling apart, and because of that, and he's obviously drugged, like since I've watched it second time, because he's giving like something that he's both given like either like both shrooms and like, but he's drinking it, and he's also given like something that's kind of like Viagra, so it's getting like enhanced like
sex lust.
Yeah, exactly. And because he's like, you see him through the whole movie watching this girl. And of course, like if he's in that specific position that where he can't do anything about it, and they're pretty much leading him into doing it, he's gonna do it. Because when you're into that, like I really like that specific thing, because it really kind of shows like how, like when like specifically guys are horny, like they really go into this reptile kind of thing, like Stone Age kind of thinking, like where you use like one of the smaller parts of your brain, and it's all like just animal.
You go full primal.
Exactly, and then you don't really think about it at all. But once he's finished, he's like super scared and he runs away, because he's kind of like it's a joke that if when men after they come they like get back half their brain, and it really shows in that specific scene.
What do you say, 5 minutes and then you're back into it if it's
exactly. Yeah, so I think that's kind of what it shows, like because like as a combination of him being drugged, both like to be enhanced and actually drugged with like shrooms.
But it's not only the enhancement that guide him to that.
No,
I think when you're on some type of drug that make you almost see the world objectively. You get into this mindset that like you're not being yourself.
No,
you're being yourself on a primal level.
Exactly.
That's why I think that's why like when you're high or something like that, you want to eat.
Yeah, exactly. Because you only think about one thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of like he gets tunnel vision, so to say. Because he's only been looking at her for some time, and he doesn't really care about like Danny. Because every time she talks about stuff that she thinks is important, he just I need to work for my thesis, or doesn't care at all.
Yeah.
So it just shows how narrow-minded it is, and that's one of the explanations why he gets like sacrificed, because how narrow-minded he is, and he doesn't care. It's a result.
So that's why he gets sacrificed.
Exactly.
Not because he was just there for the the future child.
Exactly. No, he was like that's one of the things, because as I said before, Ari Aster is like the most like prepared director. So every decision that the character makes in this movie has an impact on why they get sacrificed. But they've already planned it. It's actually a thing. I'm not sure if this is true, but the thing is there. It's kind of like an Easter egg or like a plot point. But during the scene when you see her dead parents in the beginning, there's actually a Midsommar krantz lying on one of the tables when it like pans through the room.
No way.
Yeah, it is.
Really?
So there is actually a theory about that it's actually been planned all along, that her family is gonna die, and then for her to go to Sweden.
Like I completely forgot about that.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking in the beginning, there's something about the cult doing this because they want these Americans to become sacrifices for their, was it 5 outsiders or 4 outsiders?
5 outsiders, I think.
5 outsiders. So they never mentioned who killed her parents or anything, right?
No.
There were 7 outsiders.
Oh yeah, because there were 5 and then there were 2 from London.
Yeah. But so what's the Swedish guy's name?
Pelle.
Pelle, yeah.
And his brother Ingmar.
Do you think it was Pelle who did it, or?
Yeah, I think he was sent out to find people. Like they always
he was scouting. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that was the same for his brother Ingmar.
Exactly. So that's because they said they have a specific part which is gonna come into my favorite quote later when they talk about like their seasons, and they say like during their main seasons are when they are like scouting the world or something pilgriming, and I think that's the part when they actually send out people in order to find people.
The pilgrimage is this you travel to find yourself. Like
exactly.
You go through this very holy trip.
Yeah.
Where you
discover yourself and everything.
Discover yourself.
Have you heard about so it's like pilgrims, those in America, when they come, I think 18 or something, as you say, I think as you mentioned, they travel around discovering themselves, maybe study, maybe just get some work here and there. And then when they get to a certain age, I don't know which age.
36, I think.
36 maybe, yeah. Maybe it's the same as,
Yeah.
Then have to decide whether they should like stay outside of the pilgrim village forever or stay inside forever. They can't just jump back and forth.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they have to decide. Do you think it's something there?
Yeah, it might be.
That they could decide whether Pelle should study abroad for life, or if we should.
I'm not sure about that. Actually,
I think I like that more of the idea that he was sent out, like his Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he had a duty.
Jesus
his prime focus or primal
no,
goal.
like his pilgrimage is based on that he goes out
and recruits
people, or not recruit people, but like brings back people.
Yeah, and then they, in that sense, they kind of like decide on which people to be sacrificed or not.
Yeah, which like if you just like based on just the word.
Yeah.
In a cultish way.
Yeah.
It sounds very creepy.
Yeah.
You know, and it's almost like a hint in the beginning that I mean in a prime like pilgrimage age.
Yeah.
Doesn't his father or like what was it, Father Paul or no, Peter?
I don't remember.
The guy that Pelle, and he gives him a hug. Like
it was not his dad. It was some.
Yeah,
other.
it's not his dad, but like he
his brother.
He called him like.
No,
father
that was
something.
Ingmar.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you mean when they trip out on the field?
No, the guy that said welcome.
I want to get to the village.
Oh,
I think he was one of the
something
leaders. He was one of the main leaders.
He asked him about like how did your pilgrimage go? Like.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Wasn't he one of the guys who got? It was Ingmar and him who got burned up, or was it some?
No, it was somebody. It was the guy who got mad at Mark because he peed on a tree.
Oh, that was him. No, wasn't that like a bald guy? No.
No, it was him. You're peeing on my ancestors.
He's peeing at the Rotvälta.
I had some thoughts about like this is more like I don't know, maybe a deeper
Go ahead.
topic.
Yeah, go ahead.
But like the view of death and stuff.
Yeah.
So like for some people they just think that death is like, you know, boom, it's over. Like no connection or whatever. Whatever you do, you can never connect to that person again.
No.
You know? But these people, they are so like attached to the past.
Yeah.
So like they have a tree with dust on it, or like dust? No dust. Ash.
Ash is on. Yeah.
Mm.
So what do you think about that? Like cults and stuff, they just keep, or like me.
Do you mean like what we think? Maybe you mean what we think about like the symbolism of the tree?
Yeah. Why do you think they keep it around? I mean, it's a grave. But
I mean, to honor their ancestors in a way. Like it's like his tree. I think it's because like to honor nature as well, because nature has a big like it plays a big part. It's like half the movie in this
like
movie.
the recycle of life.
Exactly. Like that's how like they honor nature by putting like there's like they kind of like nature is their god.
Ashes,
yeah, exactly.
We become like it's a saying, right?
Yeah.
We say that we are from ashes.
Ashes from ashes to dust to dust.
But I have a theory about why that specific breathing technique that they use. You know, it's like
yeah.
I think it's representing of how they see life.
Okay.
Because like life goes fast, and you just let go.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I really I
have you read that or have you just
no I thought about that.
Yeah, okay.
I thought about that when like seeing it the second time. You know the side picture, the side. I'm gonna just say picture. I don't know if you say picture in English as well, but the side shot of Maya in the bathroom before she went out. She was like.
Yeah.
Because that scene, like when I see movies for the second time, I view scenes as why this scene? Like,
exactly. What part does it play? Yeah.
What part does it play? Because I know everything that is gonna happen forward, past it, and everything that happened before. So leaving everything else or leaving whatever happened, and now you're following this girl.
Yeah.
And you know what this girl is gonna do, what part, like what role she's playing.
Yeah.
Why are we with her?
Exactly, because they wouldn't put her in the movie or put her on screen if it doesn't have play a point or play a matter.
Especially not in Ari Asters.
Or if they didn't want to show anything in the bathroom.
Exactly,
that was some importance.
Yeah.
But do you think that has some sort of connection to the, as you say, like you breathing fast and then slow, and then it's like you let go of your life and you just become one with nature.
You don't keep it in. You just
exactly
let it go.
Because they do the same thing when they turn ablaze the temple. They do like, and when they breathe out, then they let Let go.
Yeah,
of
Put
the
it on
torch.
fire. Yeah, probably.
That probably confirms like the
Yeah, so like they breathe in, still have it, and when they breathe out, then they just torch.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I love how deep and how through thought everything that that surrounds like the ideology of the cult.
Yeah.
You know, everything is thought about. Even I don't know, the alphabet that they used.
Runes.
The runes.
Yeah.
I saw a video talking about those runes and like that. There's like symbols coming up in different ways.
Yeah.
About the characters. So
it plays a meaning. Like it has
there's
meaning.
meaning. So I think like when Danny, before he's going through this, like before the fuckfest that he had, he had like this robe on him, and he had like 2 symbols, one symbol for masculinity and one for bravery.
Okay.
And those symbols, they reflect also why they use the bear.
Oh, okay.
You know, and why the bear is like
The beast.
Yeah, the beast.
Why
Yeah.
the beast? Yeah, exactly. Danny, when she had like the white clothes on her before the dancing ceremony, she had like 2 symbols as well. One was like new life, and the other I don't remember what it was, but you know, it was like about I think new life and adventure or something like that. You know.
Which he was on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I love those kind of, and it's not like symbols that he come up with. It was actually like the translation of those symbols.
Yeah.
For Vikings, or I don't know.
Yeah. Because I was thinking, I was gonna, as I said earlier, I was gonna come back to it, but I was gonna talk about the shrooms.
About the shrooms.
Yes. The thing is, because I'm sure I'm the only one here who's actually tried shrooms.
Yeah.
And I actually asked my friend who does it like regularly, like if he needs to see the movie in order to say like what he says. But I think it's quite a good representation, and the reason why they use it and what the meaning behind it is that when you're on shrooms, you see the true meaning of nature, or you see the nature, like the naked nature of itself. And it is like it's like an aspect of the movie where like she, like the only horror part of the movie is when she looks in the mirror and there's someone behind there and then she looks back. That's like the only horror part technically in the movie. But then she looks back and her face is going all that, like it changed. It's like shifting, and that's actually like how it look like how a person can look like if you're having a bad trip.
But she had a bad trip
during that part. Yeah, exactly. And like the way how like how they represent like when she touches things that are like leaves and that kind of stuff, like they go up and like follow her movements, and then she has like grass on her hand. That's really how it feels like when you're on shrooms and you're having a great trip.
But do you think like because that when she saw that girl in the mirror, that was the only thing that I saw that I didn't understand the reason to.
Same. Who was it in the mirror? You have seen it twice.
I don't actually, because I read about
it. Is
it.
it like an unknown face, or is it someone in the movie?
I think it could be her mom, actually, because there's another part when she sees her mom, where she's walking through the like the people, like when the people are like surrounding her.
Yeah, she
and
recognizes
say, like,
her family.
Congratulations, and then she just sees someone passing through her, and you see that it's her mom, and she said, "Mom." And I think it was that she saw her mom, because she does have like horror flashback and nightmares when she sees like
them
dying or dead, and she like the experience she has when she sees people dying is that they reminds her of the death of her parents and her sister. But I don't really think that's related to like specifically like to the shrooms, but I think that's in a way for her, in order for her to face it in a way. That she comes in terms with nature rather than by seeing the beauty of nature, she kind of like just in her way lets go and then just accepts life and just go on, because
that part I understood, and I really like the way that they use drugs to like almost uniform her with the nature
exactly,
and based on also like her getting together with this cult or commune.
Exactly.
And I think that's why they use drugs for for everyone.
Exactly.
Because everyone took the drugs together.
Exactly.
just to make them like connect on a deeper level.
Yeah.
But I didn't understand why they showed.
I think it's to enhance her fear. Like she's at that point having a real bad trip, and that's like it's probably like if you're having I've never had a bad trip because I only tried it once, but I can imagine if you're having like a real bad trip, like it can be triggered by if someone just wants to leave the room that you're hanging with. But if that triggers you, you can get the worst kind of thoughts, and that might be if you're very visual, you're gonna get visual. Like if you're in a dark room, because it's the thing is with shrooms is that you can see either things in the dark, or you can see things in light. So you can see things that are not there too. Like if you get like really paranoid. So I think it's just a part of her paranoia during that scene because she just runs out because she's scared, and then she just falls asleep, and then sleeps for like 6 hours, I think, or something like that. So I think it's just a thing to increase or like just to build up a bar of like how afraid she is at the moment.
Based on what you said about her, like, you know, having the scary stuff that happens, or like the stuff that triggers you.
Yeah.
As like because like when you're on drugs, you're very vulnerable.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
If you get to that point that you actually having a bad trip or something like that, you become very vulnerable.
Yeah.
That's because that's why when someone is having like a really bad trip, you need to be very, very conscious of what you're saying or what they're feeling, and how to like support them to not fall into it deeper.
And she just leaves. She just walks away from everyone. She misinterprets it like everything as something towards her.
Yeah, I just thought of that as being like if she tried to be alone.
Yeah.
Because of like everyone, people laughing at her and like new people and the paranoia. She thought she needed to be alone, but she's never actually alone.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a good, interesting thought.
I just got like.
But also, where, as you mentioned, her early trip, she got some. You know, her hand, was it her hand that turned into grass?
It started like showing grass growing out of her hand.
Exactly,
so cool.
and she like flipped out.
Yeah.
But when she was sitting at the table, feeling the leaves around her arms, and then looking down at her feet, and her feet just transformed into grass.
Yeah.
She didn't like panic or anything. Yeah. She was just chilling.
Yeah, exactly. You know? Because that's the thing, because like during that scene when she's walking through all the people, like you see their faces actually going like morphing, and that's kind of like how it could look like when you're having a trip, either a bad trip or a good trip. You will always see something like that.
But the sky and like the trees and
there's a specific part during her first trip when you actually see her looking at a tree, and you actually see it like it looks like there's like a stream going down the tree. That's also one thing. Like if you look at like
patterns,
they're gonna like if I was gonna look at this table, if I was on shrooms, it would move. Like I would see it moving back and forth, and could see something in the pattern, and that's just really good. Like how would I say it? Like detail, presentation of detail. Like I even read that there's a part during like one of the last scenes where they show the forest, and apparently you can see a face in the forest.
Whoa.
Like but I haven't seen it, so I need to go back and watch that again.
Third time.
Third time. Yeah. So you just, and it's also the thing like if you look at the table, you see like the course that they're eating, it's breathing too, or breathing as well. So like there's always like something that's more natural, or the nature is like breathing with her. I just feel like it's a really good representation and really puts like it really takes place, or really lets that specific part of the movie or that theme to take a big place.
But I have a really soft spot for movies or things that happen in movies that represent or translate an experience for someone. So like it's really hard to not get it really inspired from this film. We've already like planned to film some stuff that are based on like a couple of shots from this movie and Hereditary, because when you see like, of course it's different for everyone. People see this movie and they're like, okay, that was a waste of 2.5 hours, you know. But I see this movie and I'm like, shit, I love it. I love everything all the details about it.
But that's also the difference between looking at the technical aspects of the movie.
Yeah.
For example, when they just have a dolly on the table,
Yeah.
and just going through the table. It's
Yeah.
super long, and all the long takes
Yeah.
are
And then-
super
yeah.
impressive.
And then when the camera like follows them when they're sitting down, like
Yeah.
or then it was just what are they doing? And the scene when they're like picking up flowers backwards, like you just see the people like them, the group standing there and they say, what are they doing? And then then they show you what they're looking at, and they just go down like real super quick.
Yeah.
And you're like, you were not prepared for that kind of shot to come.
No, it felt almost like out of place,
But then you understand it, like immediately after you'll be like, yeah, of course, yeah, why not? But you're like always, you're kind of like looking at this in like in awe. You're like amazed how like they thought of this or like how they put this together.
yeah, it's like taking deep staging to a whole other level.
Yep.
Through fucking room and space.
And I really like when movies hide information or hides like Easter eggs.
Yeah.
For example, the thing you mentioned about the face.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about there was a face in the forest.
No, exactly.
Now I want to rewatch it again.
Yeah.
Because I get very tired of some movies if I know I got pretty much everything I wanted to see from this movie. Then I would take a long 3 years or more. Then I'm maybe rewatching it,
Yeah.
But when I know there's actually things hidden in there,
Yeah.
I want to go back and find it.
The thing is, like, it works a lot with symbolism, like when it's with its art, and like the art they show in the movie, or the there's another word for that, but I can't remember it right now. But the thing is, like, for example, when they show you the ritual of like how they get a woman to fall in love with you, they show it from left to right rather than from
Right to left. How you read.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And the reason why they do it
No,
is,
they showed it from right to left.
exactly.
Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Instead of left to right.
Exactly. And the reason why they do that is in order to show that something is going to go very wrong here. Because it doesn't show you in the natural, not the natural, but the most common way we read.
Yeah.
And also that every time they show something that has like the art or like the, like when they look at the roof, all that is used or showed later in the movie. Like every time they show that it's going to happen to either one of the characters. Like it never showed like that. And that's
Something that doesn't make any sense.
Exactly.
Even talking about stuff like Easter eggs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, in the beginning, I was like, I pointed it out to you. I was like, look.
Yeah.
You know, it's the painting above her bed.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Like what? Isn't that like a Swedish?
Yeah, it is. It's
artist?
it's a Swedish artist. It's very famous because he makes a lot of troll like paintings, and it really just it really kind of like sells the mood or says like what the kind of movie this is. Like it kind of like it feels in a way kind of like an homage to the Sweden in a way.
Yeah.
Like how they represent us, even though it's a horror movie.
And they don't represent Midsommar. pretty
Exactly. But it still feels like the way it really like they could have done is like super like arrogant and not like even not even having Swedish actors and just doing like, oh, we can do like we're Americans, we don't really have to like think about how we're gonna represent Swedes in this movie. But they really gone into detail and really shows how.
Yeah, I
like,
feel like the usage of the name Ingmar.
Yeah.
I feel for like that per se is such a great like way, such a simple but great way. You know, Ingmar Bergman. You know, one of the greatest in cinema.
Yeah.
Just like giving him that like.
Yeah, they could have chosen
that
like
thing,
several
yeah.
other names, and it's one thing I've been thinking about, and it's one of the things that we have against us watching this, and that's because we're Swedes. Because like one of the main points
We
about
are
this movie,
Swedes.
that's the thing is because the reason like it's so one of the main things about this movie is about isolation, like how to like feel isolated when you're a group with around people you don't understand. But the thing is, we watch and then we understand everything they say, because if you watch the English version, like the Swedes are not subtitled.
They're not?
No, they're not. No, they're not supposed to be subtitled because they're not supposed to understand what they're saying either. Which in order are supposed to like enhance like how they are going to be suspicious about what they say.
What?
Whoa.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I thought
Exactly.
they were going
Dude.
to be subtitled.
No, not really. No.
Because, like, as you mentioned, a way for us to see this movie is because we are Swedish, so we understand everything the Swedish people say.
Yeah.
Except when they talk in, like, old rune language.
Or gibberish when they do at one part when they're dancing around the theater like oh there's Mama, that's not language.
Or when
that's
they,
not
or,
Swedish.
Or when they sing. They
Yeah.
don't sing in, like,
Sweden, no.
modern Swedish.
No.
They sing in, like, old runic.
Dude,
Yeah.
that's a beautiful layer.
Yeah.
In the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I
it's
didn't
so
know.
fun to... We watched it with a girl named Emma. And she, every time there came up an old actor,
Yeah.
she pointed and just said, like, oh, I know that person.
Yeah.
Like, she recognized that actor from another movie, a
Yeah.
Swedish movie or a Swedish series, whatever. I recognize... so the old lady who says, like, turn around, now stop, go
Yeah.
the other way.
She's in the series Adam and Eva
Exactly,
series.
yeah, she's the mom.
mother. She's the mom of Eva. in
Yeah,
that series,
she was the one I recognized, and also one of the elders.
Is he the one that he's in a lot of farce, like in
Farce,
Falkenberg? Farce, like no, not farce, but farce is like a play where it's like a lot of comedy, but it's very like a specific kind of comedy.
Okay.
I think so.
It's like live comedy, like they do it in like Falkenberg in Sweden.
Okay.
Oh, they do it on the set.
Yeah,
With the
it's
mailman.
Yeah, it's the Stefan and Krister. Yeah.
Ah, okay. I recognize
So
it
he's
from
been in a lot of those. So that's why I recognize him too. But they use a lot of like the girl that wakes Christian up is also quite a well-known Swedish actress. I'm not pretty sure. I think she was in Arn. I'm not sure. It might be wrong. Correct me on this. But I think she was in Arn, and that's why like might be why she's being put like so close to the camera.
And for people not knowing what Arn is, it's like a Swedish like attempt at a Hollywood movie, I guess.
Yeah. It
And
was one of the most expensive movies made in Swedish cinema, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it
It's
either.
about
No.
Knight Templars. He's a Swede that goes and joins the Knight Templars.
So he's so good at being a knight, and he gets punished for being in a
It's a very
religious-
famous book series by Jan Guillou. So it's written a lot
You
of.
know Jan
book-
Guillou, right?
Uh,
Yes, I'm not the only one that doesn't know anything.
then I'm assuming he's now seen Ondskan.
I
Haven't
this guy.
seen?
No,
No.
It's like also one of the most famous. I think it was nominated for an Oscar.
Oh, yeah,
might
when they
be.
play chess at the shore. No,
No, Ondskan.
I haven't seen Oscar.
Oh, okay, you haven't seen it yet.
It's a known thing. I'm not good at like Swedish stuff.
No, but it's
You know?
it's the thing. The only thing
I have a
bad
clue.
thing about Ondskan it's because it's supposed to be a biographical like book about himself, Jan Guillou, and it's made out to seem like he was like a super kind of Superman kind of character,
Oh.
like he's super strong.
Okay.
But he's not really. It's like he puts him out to be like Jesus in a way. Hate me for that comment, but if you read it and see the movie, you can kind of like see. But like, yeah, I wouldn't think that he would be like that. But anyway, because like even though because it's biographical, like it's been corrected by people who went to the same class as him and said like this is not how it went, and he didn't act like this.
No.
So yeah. Anyway, off topic.
After it happens.
I need to
Happens.
rewatch Arn, and you have to watch Arn.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
It's-
we can do it together.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
pretty cool.
I think they even have it at Directen. If I don't, I bought it. I actually have it on Blu-ray. I bought the whole
Wait,
thing.
they are on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to talk about your Blu-ray collection.
Okay, so we're gonna have a specific part here when we're gonna talk about my Blu-ray collection. Okay.
Well, we haven't.
It's
actually,
my favorite part of Midsommar.
It's my favorite part of this house.
Okay. Yeah.
House, but we didn't even talk about Jonas. I think we might do it in the end before the special.
I mean,
special
we might
part.
as well right now when we talk about your famous Blu-ray.
Yeah, this can be
library.
like our pause
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
the movie. You know,
Here's a quick pause. So if we were famous, we would have ads here, but we don't have ads. So, so Jonas, who are you?
So yeah, I'm Jonas. I'm 25 years old. I'm from a small town called Borås, like south of Sweden, and for quite some time I've been collecting movies, or at least I think 7 years, I think. But I went hardcore about 5 years ago, I think. So about now, I would say I have about 800 Blu-rays, maybe.
800. No, weren't they
dude.
like 400?
Yeah, it might be more now.
800.
I'm just guessing now, but the thing is, since I like I received like a lot of movies during my last birthday, and I bought like so many with him.
Yeah.
And just that, I think by that I added like 100.
I think we bought at least 20 movies.
Yeah,
day.
exactly. So I'm not super sure, but I have a lot, and I haven't watched most of it. But I think one of the main things about collecting is that it kind of like adds to your character in a way, and I think like. For me, it's like reading a book in a way, because it's like it teaches me something every time I watch a movie, even though like it doesn't have to be like the technical stuff. It can be the story, or it can be the characters. It's always something. I can always learn something from watching a movie, and it just happens to be that I enjoy Blu-ray because it's very great quality, and there's like a lot of movies being restored on Blu-ray these days. So it's great to watch really old movies being like restored into like a great quality to make it look like it was made yesterday.
I have a question to you.
Yeah, sure.
So I started recently collecting Blu-rays.
Yes.
And I have a big, I have a big whopping library of 30 movies.
Okay,
Oof.
yeah.
It's a bit, and all of them cost 20 crowns at the Reabacken.
Yeah, it's a start.
Yeah, it's a start. And I bought some online that I really wanted. But I'm just asking you, so since you have so many,
Yeah.
are you not afraid of like, I don't know, losing one of them or like anything? Shouldn't you just, because I'm going to buy a Blu-ray burner.
Okay.
I'm going to burn in all of my physical library into a digital library.
No. Okay, yeah.
Like, do you have any like plans doing that, or just
No, not
completely
really.
just having physical is the point?
Because the thing is, like with when you have physical, you can always rely on that it's not going to be destroyed, because discs are like they're great. Like as soon as
it's
like,
hard to destroy.
they're hard to destroy. The thing is, when you go digital, like you'll have it until like your computer fucks up, or if you forget to back up, well, you don't have it anymore. You
Exactly.
might unless like there are always ways to go around it. Like for example, if you bought a digital on a site, you might be able to download it again, but you can never be sure. Like as soon as the internet goes down, you might never be sure, but you'll always have that hard copy.
I think it's like a part of the
Having something physical.
it's
actually.
like the movie cult.
Yeah.
You know, as like having it physical, going through the films and like, we can watch this, or we can watch this, because he will never like his collection at this point is at he can go in there and see at least 10 movies that he can watch right away.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Depending on like the mood or like whatever he's feeling, but there's always like a film that he can like, we need to watch this. You know?
That's also a thing about like games these days.
Yeah.
So I remember being a kid, you going to the store and you bought a physical copy of the game.
Yeah, exactly.
And that way you own a copy of that game. But if you buy a game online, you just own a license to play that game.
Exactly. You don't actually know I own the copy.
Exactly. So my mentality before was like, I really love physical copies, but it's more like easier for me to have a lot of games online, and then I have to download the one I want.
You don't have to take up space in your apartment or wherever you live.
But I think it's really romantic though.
Exactly. But then I started to think about like, I really love my like PlayStation 2 collection of games. I have like 45 or 50 games, you know? I have like several games, and also to PlayStation 3 and like everything. But PlayStation 4 I only have like 2 games.
Yeah.
So the comparison is like, I really enjoy my older collections because they're physical and I like have actual like, connection to them. But all of the games I have after PlayStation 4 are just, digital.
Of course, because you kind of like gone into that, because you like transitioned into it with everything else.
Exactly.
Because everybody else is buying digital, so why wouldn't I?
Exactly, which is why I started to collecting Blu-rays, because I really want and I don't collect I want a movie just because I want to see it. I get the movies I know it's good that I haven't seen, or movies I really enjoy.
Yeah.
For example, I bought like a 8 movie like package, like SpongeBob the SquarePants movie, Kung Fu Panda 1, Into the Spider-Verse, like movies I really enjoy and know that I can rewatch multiple times again.
Well, it's you're getting into like that. Your collection gets its own type of character. You know?
It has a theme to it, a category.
Like my dream is having like a home cinema, where the walls are isolated by Blu-ray discs.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? Where like you can go like there's space that you can walk around the stools, you know, and just filled with movies, and like I can point out like where my special films are, like
exactly.
oh, here or here, these films are great or whatever.
Yeah, because the thing is, the difference with my collection is that I sometimes buy movies I'm not sure I'm gonna like. I'm just taking like recommendations sometimes, and like, oh, I've heard of this movie, I'm gonna buy it, and then I'll watch it. But still, it's a part of my collection. Because as I said, it's a lesson for me. Like I'm always gonna learn something by watching it. Like if I don't like it, I might still like something in it, or something that's something I would not do. But I understand where they came from with this, or I would like to read more, because there's always a great story behind every movie, or a story that's great to at least read about. But you said something else when you said, "Are you afraid?" You didn't just say, "Are you afraid to lose it?" You said something else. I think you started your question differently than what you ended the question with.
I think it was something like, "Are you afraid to lose it, or are you just afraid of?" I don't know.
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna. Yeah, I was gonna say, because the reason why I also buy it is in a way to like how I respect movies. In a way,
okay.
I've started to like respect. Like I've downloaded a lot of movies. I can admit that. But the thing is, as soon as I realize how many companies these days work with like how restoring movies and putting like so much effort into actually restoring them and putting extra material on it, like interviews, documentaries, commentaries, then I really want to support that. And I think that's why I really want to put that money into it, because I really think that's worth putting money into. And that's just I just hoping that maybe one day I'll make a movie that when someone will think the same.
Oh
yeah.
So
100%. I can guarantee that.
Yeah. So, and the thing is, like, because you're always gonna relate to that. Like, every time like you show me a video or we talk about directing, then we realize that he like collects movies on the way they talk about a movie, or talk about movies like generally, and you realize that they also collect. You're gonna realize, okay, I have so much to talk about this, like with this this director about, because. Like, if it's just a director and he doesn't enjoy watching other movies, of course it's going to be an interesting conversation. But talking like from one collector to another, that's something else, because it doesn't necessarily put him in the role of being a director. It also puts him in the role of being a collector, and that's something different. But putting those together, it's really very magical.
It's basically like a film nerd.
Exactly.
Like doing like working with something that you love so much.
Yeah.
It's unavoidable.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That you fall in love with the people doing the movies, and the movies, like all type of movies. Like we talk about like, oh, maybe you buy a film and maybe you don't like it, but you have it and maybe you learn something from it anyways. Exactly. Dr. Sleep is a movie we talked about, and on that podcast I mentioned that I didn't enjoy that movie a lot, and there's a lot of flaws to it from my part. You know? But there was like this super awesome dream sequence that they actually they did really cool stuff with it. Yeah. And I felt like that was really inspiring for me, and I was like, oh, I need to learn how they did that, and I need to like remake it, and like that was super creative.
And also the thing about like honoring and actually, pay for the service that you actually enjoy.
Exactly.
Because I admit also I've been a pirate. Yar. No, but
so I am the only one here that do not download any illegal movies.
We have it on tape, boys.
We got it.
Get in.
No, but so there's one series that I love, like my favorite show of all time, One Piece.
No, One Piece.
Okay. Avatar is like, they're like in different ways. I love them both. But
One Punch Man.
Well, no. So One Piece is known for being like super long.
Okay.
It is like the same age as Dog.
Oh yeah. We talked about this, yeah.
Yeah, and super long, and like buying one volume of like one manga pocket. They're like a manga series. So buying like one manga book.
Yeah.
Cost roughly, like in Swedish crowns, like 160.
Yeah.
Which is like $16.
Yeah.
And there are 97, I think.
Okay.
No, 95. So just buying the series, so you can read the entire series up till now, cost over like 6,000 or 5,000 or something Swedish crowns, which is like $500.
Yeah.
And the series gonna keep going for like 4 or 5 years, something.
Yeah.
And you have them all?
No. So I have like one series completed with just like 42 books.
Yeah.
But this show is like, since it's my favorite, and I really, really, really like reading it. I've read it several times, but online. I'm thinking, from this moment, I should start collecting it.
Yeah.
So I have 6 books.
Yeah.
And they're hard to get here in Sweden because if you're going to buy them abroad,
Yeah.
it's going to cost shipping and everything. It's going to be even more expensive. So this is going to be like a slow burn that every year I will buy like several books.
Yeah.
And they just...
That's kind of how I started too. Like before I started working, like I bought. Once I started working, I was regularly buying some, but it was like, it kind of comes in like small portions or like in specific portions or like in like different times of the year, like depending on like, as soon as I started like studying here in Falun, like I discovered like so many more movies, and then I just realized, I have like so many movies that I just have to like buy them like every now and then. But before then I had like, I'm gonna buy these movies, and then I bought them. Now I just take it like, now I have an opportunity to buy this movie, now I have an opportunity to buy this movie, and then
you
just
buy
take
a lot of movies.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I just say come to you every now and then. It's like, I just bought this one. You're like, you just bought one the other week. Yeah, but now I had a chance to buy this one.
How do you have the money for that?
Yeah, you don't constantly buy them. You just like have periods when you think like, this is time to buy movies or books or
Yeah,
whatever.
it used to be like that. Now it's more like I buy it now every now and then. It really depends, because now it really, like, one of the ones I buy from is Eureka Master of Cinema is please support me and give me more Blu-rays.
You wish.
I wish. Yes,
Yeah,
I wish I was
just
sponsored
Blu-rays.
by Eureka Master of Cinema. No, but they really just happened to put up like sales during like when I was like, okay, I can't buy anything right now. They're like, 40% off this movie. I was like, oh fucking hell. I guess I just have to buy one. Okay, but yeah, that just happens to work. It just happens to be that they like at specific point I either find them on second hand or they're on sale, or I'm like, okay, might as well. But then I still manage. It's not like I've never gone broke because of buying movies.
But
So.
I think like something that there is really like, it's a great thing that you're like that, because if you weren't, it would be like a super financial problem.
Yeah.
But you don't spend a lot on bullshit.
No.
You know, he doesn't like do this small buys or like
No.
goes like out for nothing, or
It's almost as you actually have like planned out economy.
Kind of.
he does.
I used to do in a way budget like do budgets for myself. Like I remember like a couple of years ago when I was working in a warehouse. I worked in the same warehouse for like 3.5 years. The thing is, I barely had candy or like chips at home or anything like that, because it wasn't put in my budget for food, so I didn't buy it.
Yeah.
So because of that, I had like barely any cravings for sugar, and I regularly worked out. So most of my money that I had over, either I put into for savings or I bought movies.
Yeah, there's so much money that goes into like bullshit, like everyday bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, and just buying like 3 or 4 coffees, that's a fucking movie.
Yeah.
It's really a movie.
I have like a quick story about like my way of looking at money.
Yeah.
So as a kid, as soon as I got my 20 crowns this week, my veckopeng, as we say it, weekly allowance, I just like immediately bought. I never bought candy because I got it from my parents, but I always bought like toys and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
And I always scrambled money to get a video game.
Yeah.
Now and then. But my sister, she just took the money and just like immediately gave it back and said, "Put it in my bank."
Okay.
And I'm not gonna say what her number is now, but she has like pretty much no bullshit toys from when she was a kid. Except for gifts and stuff.
Yeah.
But she has a lot of like saved away money that she can use now.
Okay.
Meanwhile, I have a lot of useless toys that I'm just gonna give away, But
you have a childhood though. That's the different part, because you had an experience, but like because you have to look at it in a different way. I think it's still like, of course it's good to save, but you kind of need to like let yourself have something.
Yeah. But I remember being 12. I had not a lot of money. I was scrambling up to get a video game.
Yeah.
And I saw how much money my sister had saved away just because she didn't buy bullshit. And since that day, I became not like a cheapskate, like became super snål.
Yeah, you became
you're just aware.
cheap.
Cheap.
More aware.
Yeah, no, I just like planned out like what do I really want.
Yeah.
So every time I bought something, I thought 3 times about buying it.
Yeah.
And if it's a big thing, 7 times.
Okay, yeah, because that's one of the things I thought about before. Like when I need to buy something expensive, I should be able to buy it at least 2 more times in order to make it actually worthwhile.
You should not scramble money to buy it.
No.
And also, how much do you need it? Can you save up money so you can buy it next month, or do you need it now?
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm really bad with financial stuff. I spend too much money on shit.
And like food for others.
Yeah.
And he's the only one that actually has his own company in here, so...
Yeah. Well, my company I'm very strict with.
Yeah, okay. That's
but
good.
otherwise...
But you're good with your company, but you're not very strict with your private economy.
Yeah, and it's really bad. Like, I'm in a huge money problem.
Yeah. So I had really.
Please donate to Karim if you want to contribute.
Yeah, he has a Patreon.
If you want me to live...
No, but I had
no.
We'll put his number in the link down below.
But do you remember having like CSN the cheap way of in gymnasiet?
Yeah, just having the very small portion of it. Or
Yeah,
like
so in Sweden we get money if we just going to school, like bidrag.
Yeah. Almony.
Almony, exactly.
I think.
And it's what is it?
It's like 100 bucks.
100 bucks a month. And it's not much, and it's just enough for the essentials for a student to just survive in high school. Bus card, like, I don't know.
What else?
Pencils, stuff.
Maybe buying go out for a coffee or something.
Yeah.
Be able to
like an allowance.
Yeah, exactly. Because most people or most kids these days, when they go to gymnasium, they actually live at home, so they like. I think that when they put this in, I think they kind of expect like most people actually parents still pay for some things. You don't really pay for your food exactly. So it's still like what you need.
It's more for if you need something extra.
Yeah.
Clothes or something like that.
Which was for me like I had a very lucky place to be. My mom was like, as long as you study, I will pay for like everything, but not like clothes or like hobbies and stuff. That's like up to you, you know.
Yeah.
But since I learned from my sister like to just buy the things that you really want or really need, I never went out to like and bought like stupid stuff. I always planned stuff. So through the entire high school, I always went plus on those $100 per month.
Fuck yeah!
So I saved up money from the CSN, you know. And also, I'm not a big drinker, as some people in the class, Love.
Shout out to Louie.
He was here last week. He was the last guest.
Yeah, but and I'm a lightweight, so I don't spend a lot of money on like alcohol and like stuff like that. So I mean, yeah, I don't know how we came to economy. And
so
stuff, but
about financials, going back to Midsommar. I'm actually like.
So this is back to the movie part.
Yeah, back to the movie part.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what makes this movie great. And
haven't we already?
Well, we have, but like in
do you have anything more to add before we go to?
I was gonna. Did you have something? Because I had something.
I was gonna go into like what is it actually? Because we talked about it for a little bit.
Yeah.
But what was it that you? Why do you enjoy Hereditary more than Midsommar?
I think it's because I relate to it more. Like the way it shows family in another way. I can say I relate more to this movie now, like Midsommar now, because I find it like I found more of a family here than I did in my hometown. Like I love my family, of course, but like
we have a cult here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But that's the thing. Like I felt more home here coming to Fallen and studying than I did back in my hometown that I lived for like 24 years. So in that way, I relate to it, but. Then again, I've been living with my own family, and you can see like hardships in a family, and like arguing, and like not coming to terms, and like not talking about problems, because that's one of the things I think Hereditary does a lot, not better, but it, like the theme of not like
let's focus on.
Yeah, exactly, because what they do a big part of the movie is that they don't talk about their problems. Like the mom never talks out about her problems, and that's one of the reasons why. I think she becomes the way she becomes, that she just puts everything in here and then just leaves, and then it just comes out in a worse way when she like there's a scene where she just pretty much goes full berserk and just yells the most worst things she can say to her son, because she goes mad because he's like kind of being not arrogant, but he's being not snotty. I think is the word I'm looking for. Snobby, yeah. And the way like they really it really goes in depth, but with, like it really has like a lot of close-ups of just emotions and faces, and like genuine. I think both movies has a great way of showing people crying. And I think that was one of the things we weren't going to go into a little bit, like while we're actually talking about Hereditary, because one of the things it got against itself was that like some people didn't like the way Alex cries in that movie. The actor Alex Wolff, I think his name. They think it's childish. But the thing is, one of the questions some people ask them who think it's not natural the way he cries is that, have you ever heard someone cry? Like when they really, really cry? Because I don't really think that most people see that every day, and I don't really think that most people know how people cry, and that he's in a specific situation where he goes back to like being a child because he really feels like a child. He feels like lost and he feels sad, and then you actually like you feel like you're in a situation where everything is just coming out, and then you cry like a child. Even though you're like close to being an adult can cry in the same way. I don't think that's unnatural.
I think people sometimes forget that the complexity of people.
Exactly.
That people can be whatever you don't think they can be.
They just have a specific like expectation of what people are, but that's not all.
Yeah, just because they're into this bubble of being in a movie.
Yeah, exactly.
So you get the expectation and that's why like some movies become so brilliant, because they show something so absurdly real.
Exactly. And people are not like aware or not aware, but they're not used to being shown that in movies, so they feel like it's not natural, but not really.
Yeah. And like talking about Screams, that film has one of the most real, most haunting screams that like seriously just thinking about it
gives you goosebumps.
Gives me goosebumps. I don't know if you saw it on my beard. but that's something really, really close to me.
Yeah,
because that's not something I've seen in any other movie.
No.
And it's something really like personal in a deep way, and seeing that I was like super shocked.
I really enjoyed this movie with the thing of we weren't forced to see things that we will figure out later. For example, how did Mark die? How did Simon die? How did Connie die?
Yeah.
We didn't need to see it to understand what's happening.
Exactly.
Even before they actually got abducted.
Yeah, because they only hint at, they always show specific parts, and then the only thing, like the Simon part, is also actually like Easter egg, not Easter egg, but it's kind of like, okay, if you know this, and it's really cool, because what they do, like, I don't know, sure if you noticed this, but the technique they use is called the blood eagle.
No,
and it's kind of like a Norse kind of torture thing, is when they take out like the lungs on the back side of the back, and to make it look like an eagle, and then he just like they keep him alive. It's called a blood eagle, and it's like how like what the Vikings used to do. I think they did it in the show Vikings too. Because I just realized that when I read about it, because I remember my friend
That's a real thing.
That's a real thing that the Vikings did. Yeah,
but it's something like reported, and it's something like that they have seen scripts of.
Exactly.
But it's not something that they know is
being still done to this day.
No, not like that, but it's something possible.
Exactly.
Because it feels like
it's like a theory. It's like it's hypothetical.
Discussed about like, is it possible to actually
do
have
this?
Someone
they need to be very advanced with
alive.
scalpels and stuff to actually withhold the person alive.
Yeah,
I think it's too complex, and like to the person not like losing the blood and not dying because of the shock.
Yeah, because he was dead for like several days, so they had to feed him or something in order to keep him alive. So I'm not sure this worked, but like it's a movie.
But then there's like stories, like real stories about like gangsters and people like that, torturing people and giving them cocaine to stay alive. So every time they would pass out, they would give them cocaine and like keep torturing them.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna add something more to Hereditary, because the thing, I think one of the reasons why I like it more, I think it's because the way, like how it, how was I gonna say this, like the way it depicts emotion, like it really the way it depicts emotion, and like
the panic and
the panic. Yeah, exactly. Because it really drag it out. Like one of the things you said, like one of the best descriptions to this day about this movie is like it makes you afraid of seeing the next shot. And what it does, it lingers on the person, like mostly close-ups, and then you just see the fear in their eyes, and that just lets the person looking at the movie like figure out or like imagine themselves like the next picture, and that's probably the most haunting
picture you ever get.
Because it's probably not gonna be that scary, but because you're in that mood, you're gonna be scared anyway. Because you're already stuck in it.
I think the setup to like Charlie's death picture is one of the best setup to like showing actually what happened to someone. I will show you that scene. You will fucking flip.
He needs to watch the movie.
Yeah, you need to watch the movie, dude.
Yeah.
It's a great film.
I have it.
But
I add that to my list.
But to take us to the next thing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to tell you this, but I think I like Midsommar more.
No, it's fine.
Than Hereditary.
Yeah.
How dare you?
It might have to do with that I've seen Midsommar twice.
Yeah.
And that I get like this other relationship to like every scene.
Yeah.
But overall, I think it's nice. Like it's more of an adventurous film.
Yeah.
That like I like the isolation.
Yeah.
You know, in movies, like the isolation is very literal in the film.
Yeah.
But it's also for us like going into the story, and you know, investing into the story.
Yeah.
Hereditary is awesome. I love how they set up. I love how the drama is dragged through the whole film.
Yeah.
And I love the details and everything.
Yeah.
And some part I've seen it like several times and like really digested it.
Yeah.
But the movie's like a scary movie that you remember as a bright movie.
Yeah.
Now that's fucking like that's
yeah, it's kind of in the way like how what's it called, Suspiria works, like how it's like a different movie that it uses colors in horror, like most movies doesn't. Like you usually think about a very dark and black movie, and I think that's one of the differences. Like you have a very dark movie that's
Hereditary,
Hereditary, and then on the opposite you have the light movie. It's kind of like they're kind of in the same kind of, like they are almost like made to be put together. Like you can really see that they're like they're opposites, but you can see that they're supposed to belong together in certain ways. You need to watch the movie in order to. But I understand this a lot afterwards. But I was gonna say like one of the things one of the themes that like how it really shows like how the people's true inner selves, or like how we see them, is that they use like a lot of mirrors, like. They're like more mirrors than you think about. Like, oh yeah, there's a mirror shot. But the reason why they do it
is Midsommar?
In Midsommar. The reason why they use mirrors is that that's how they really look. And then when we see them through the regular lens, that's how they want to be depicted. Like, but then when we see them in the mirrors, that's probably more how they feel. So I think, I'm not sure, but I think sometimes when you see them in the mirrors, for some scenes, it's like you actually see them how they react or feel, but it's not really in the front of the movie.
Yeah.
But then if they would cut to like the actual person, then they wouldn't look like completely the same. I'm not sure if that's the case, but it's supposed like the meaning behind it.
I understand what you mean. Like just your way of explaining it.
Yeah.
I feel because it's like okay. So when you talked about it, I thought about the picture where Christian is with his friends.
Yeah,
and
in the living room when he explains that she's coming to Sweden. Yeah.
And you get like this mirror, and it's a super long shot.
Yeah, exactly.
On the mirror, and you see her and Christian through the mirror above
the other guys.
And it's like it's a darkened image of them from a objective look.
Yeah.
It really. Now thinking about it, it really feels like, you know, it's almost as looking at an old image.
Yeah, exactly.
That someone took of someone when they didn't, and it's almost like a pure image of someone.
Yeah.
Really beautifully put.
So, should we go to the favorite quotes?
Yeah.
I think it's time.
Do you want to start, or who?
Should we save with the guest to last for both the review and the quote?
Sure.
Yeah.
So my favorite quote. So this movie wasn't super quote heavy. I think. There's a lot of like sentences and meanings that has a lot of like deeper meanings to them. But there's one that I think is just funny because it's a super like Swedish
it
thing.
always becomes funny. It always becomes about funny. The memes. Because I'm sorry, it's always about the memes.
Yeah, and you can never really like translate it in a good way to English.
And now we know that they didn't even get a translation in the cinemas.
In the movie, yeah. And they talk about byxmyndig. So it is Christian and some...
Oh yeah, that was the word I was thinking about. That's the one. No, that's not the quote. I was thinking that was the word they didn't translate.
Oh,
exactly,
you was thinking about... Okay.
Because so the scene is that the quote is, yes, and in a couple of months she will become byxmyndig.
Oh, didn't he say that
she became last fall, I think. So that means that she's 16 now.
And they don't realize what that means because it's in Swedish, and then he rephrases it, like tries to translate it to panslegal. And the byxmyndig is a real term we use in Sweden where a person, a teenager, becomes
legally allowed to.
It's actually called age of consent.
Yeah, really. Exactly, but we use byxmyndig instead.
Byxmyndig.
So instead of saying age of consent
or pants legal.
Yeah, we say pants legal. So I thought that was super funny. That was like a comedy. Sorry, my armband is buzzing. But like I thought that was just too funny, and it kind of stood out from the movie. Also, all of Mark's sentences he had.
Yeah. I was gonna say the book is my quote is from Mark, but I'm gonna say mine. You can say it first.
So I just really enjoyed that. There was like a super wholesome moment, and I was like, yes, I understand that I'm a Swede. Yes.
Yes. But I really want to talk to someone that doesn't speak Swedish about the movie.
That would have been a great review. Like you should do a read review with someone who doesn't actually speak Swedish and ask what they think about it.
Yeah, that would be super awesome. So actually, my quote is about Mark.
Okay.
And it's just for the memes. Okay. I'm sorry, just for the memes. And I know this will be very personal to you. Yeah. And don't take this in a wrong way. Yeah. But, oh, hi, Mark. It's a meme that we have in our school, but it's based on, Danny would, like, when she talked to Kristen, she would say, oh, hi, Mark, and in the back.
Hi, Danny. Hi, Danny. Hi, Danny. That's a fun thing.
Hi, Mark.
The thing is, her name is Danny, but in the movie The Room, there's a character called Danny.
Oh!
So it's even, I'm not sure if you're... Ari Asters, if you're looking at this, are you aware that you actually kind of put characters that have the same name as in The Room? Get back to us with that.
Get back to us.
Hopefully he's one of our 5 viewers.
Yes, hopefully. For random and Ari Asters.
That's a great movie review. Right there, 3 boys talking, really giving this movie a really good review.
So I actually have 2 different specific parts that have like my favorite quotes, and one is specifically because it's like because he's put himself in the movie. So one is the scene when they're walking through the forest and Mark asks about ticks, which is fästingar in Swedish. And he apparently Ari Asters is super scared of ticks. And that's why he put it in the script, because apparently he puts on double socks when he goes out into like high grass if there are like ticks around. And what they say is like, yeah, Sweden has a real big trouble with ticks. And he says, oh, what the fuck? And I think that's just a great natural reaction to like someone who really is afraid or like finds something disgusting. And my other part is actually not a real quote, but what comes up after the quote. And that's when when Josh and Pelle talks about the seasons. And Josh says when he talks about the age of when they stop pilgriming, I think, and he says, why 36? And Pelle says, well, we think of life like the seasons. So you're a child until you're 18, and that's spring. And then at some point we all do our pilgrimage, which is between 18 and 36. And that's summer. And then from 36 to 54 we're working age, which is summer, which is fall. And then finally from 54 to 72 you become a mentor. And then Danny asks what happens in 72, and Pelle's reaction and answer to that is,
he wasn't kidding.
No, he wasn't kidding. And that's because it's a plot point, or it's like foreshadowing to what's going to happen in the scenes after.
Funny thing, I have actually had borrelia.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you've been bitten by a tick, or like?
So it was one summer I had over 8 ticks, I think. We counted 8 ticks, but I probably had more.
8? That's a lot.
When?
Yeah.
Like,
And
how old were you?
I was 8 or 7.
Yeah.
And my mom removed everyone, except for one she accidentally squeezed. So I got borrelia.
Yeah.
But I remember my left knee grew double the size. So I couldn't even like touch my leg without my knee hurting, you know?
Damn,
yeah.
And when that's reduced and they removed out of my system...
Summer is coming, boys.
I have had the phantom pains ever since in my...
Oh, really?
In my shin...
Oh, wow.
Shin guards? No, what do you say? The lower legs.
Oh, yeah.
You still have that?
Yeah, I have phantom pains since I was 8.
Calves.
Yeah. So I have...
what is, like, how would you describe phantom pains?
Imagine like someone... I have told this, like, imagine if the muscle around your leg, like your bone, is like a bit out of date. It feels like it's like not really functioning in that way. It's perfectly fine. It's just phantom pain.
Yeah. It's kind of like if someone loses like their arm, like they can still like get phantom pain, so to say, from like that, like pain in the arm.
Oh.
It's like they feel like they're having an arm and getting pain in it, but they don't have an arm. That's phantom pain.
Okay.
Yeah. And it only hurts when I think about it. For example, now that I'm talking about it, it hurts a bit. But it's not like, you know, I'm on the floor screaming for help. It's just more that it's just an inconvenience. And it doesn't prevent me from like going out jogging or biking, whatever. It's just...
He doesn't do that anyway, so it doesn't matter.
No, but it's just there and it's annoying. Yeah. And some days it's like I don't even... Like, it's been, like, months, and I don't even think about it. But it's, like, every now and then, I just, like, shit, now it hurts, you know? And I just have to be, like, home and just relax and just...
But the thing is, the thing with ticks is that it's actually, like, they're not joking. It's true that ticks, Sweden has ticks problems. But it's just specific parts. I'm not sure which parts, but I think we're in a part that might be a part where you can actually get ticks. I'm not so sure, but it also depends on like what kind of blood type and like that. Because like if you easily get ticks, it also means that you most probably would mostly get like mosquitoes and like that kind of stuff too.
No,
is that true?
I've heard the opposite.
Oh, really?
So I never get mosquito bites.
Okay.
I get a lot of mosquito bites.
Yes. So that's something I've heard that it's like you either get ticks or you get mosquitoes.
Oh, okay. So
they're not related. There's also like one part where you get both.
We're gonna look that up after this.
Yeah, because I remember like sitting next to my sister, and I like the mosquito was on me, jumping to her to suck her blood, you know. And she was like, "Can't you take some?" I was like, "I already have ticks, dude. I don't want more," you know.
I've never had ticks.
Be happy.
But
yeah, knock on wood.
Yeah, but I've had I have a lot of problems with mosquitoes.
I get a lot of bites too, but not super, but some.
I'm not kidding. At least like I've counted like one time I've counted like 48 only on my both legs.
Oh wow, they really like you.
Yeah, like I'm not kidding. I get like tons.
I think I've gotten 15 my entire life or something.
Dude, in the summer you will see me with like a lot of like sores like everywhere because I itch them a lot, and then they begin bleeding and stuff. It's awful.
Yeah.
But going from that, as you do.
Should we do the reviews?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you want to begin again?
I can start.
Yeah.
So as we mentioned earlier, this was my first viewing of the movie Midsommar. And it's really... So I went into the movie knowing that it's going to be a horror movie. It's going to be very focused on a cult here in Sweden. It's going to be like around Midsommar, of course. And I thought it was going to be played out in the typical, scary movie trope, being that they realizes more at the end of the movie that something is going wrong, and they fight against these pilgrim Swedish cult people, and then eventually get out of there or something.
Yeah.
But it was so like refreshing to see, just like you could not predict entirely. A lot of things I kind of predicted,
Yeah. I think that's supposed to be like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was not supposed to be super, out of there.
No.
But the end was just so more heavy than it could be if they just like, for example, the turning point when I started to realize that I can't really pinpoint what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
Was when Maya was... No, not Maya. when Danny was dancing around the Midsommar Kans.
Yeah.
And I knew that she was gonna win.
Yeah.
And the Christian is sitting there, getting a drink, refusing to drink it.
Yeah.
And then he looks at it, and I thought, if he pours it out just like next to him, he's gonna try and escape for the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
But since he drank it, I thought, I don't know what's gonna happen now.
Oh yeah.
Maybe he's gonna eventually like run away, or he's gonna get killed or something. But as soon as he drank that, I thought the ending could be whatever now.
That's interesting.
So that was my turning point of thinking it was predictable. And we didn't even go so much into the camera work. Dude, the camera work is insane.
Yeah.
Like sitting there at the long table at the end, and there's the short focus on this goddamn thing, sorry. There's the long, like, out of focus, and then just like this line of focus on Christian and nobody else. Super cool. All the camera movements, for example, like the crane going down, seeing the girls going backwards with the flowers. I mean, just everything.
There's so many iconic shots, I think, in this movie.
Yeah, and I thought, in the beginning of the movie, I was about to write down, like, I really enjoyed this shot.
Yeah.
Because it was like a long take.
Yeah.
And that was when she was on the phone with the Christian.
Yeah.
I thought they did the entire thing without making one single cut.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a pretty cool scene. And then I realized that almost the entire movie is just one long take.
Yeah.
Even without trying to be a one-take movie. So, and I think, and since we talked about this before that there's so many things that you can't catch the first time. For example, the face in the forest.
Yeah.
I don't even know where that could be placed into the movie.
Yeah. What?
Yeah. And also, I want to see who was in the bathroom
like a small
mirror.
face?
Yeah.
A big face? I don't know.
No.
And I want to see who's in the bathroom mirror and just everything going on with all the extras in the background when the main protagonists talk to each other.
Yep.
They probably like, I don't know, do whatever.
I thought about that a lot.
What if they maybe like in one of the scenes they just like grab Mark and then just like pull him into a shed or something? We don't notice that because we look at Christian and Danny.
That would be funny.
That would be super cool.
I didn't see that.
That's something that I thought about, like what they did all made sense.
Yeah.
Like there was like this one time when
at band camp,
when Christian took Danny out to like surprise her with this like
with the cake. Yeah.
In the background, there's like 5 females standing around a baby and like comforting the baby, and all of them are like hovering, like not
back and forth, but
soothing the baby, and I was like, that makes.
They were wagging like back and forth. Yeah.
Also, a funny thing, that cake. I started laughing because I just looked at the cake.
Sockerkaka,
aka tiger cake.
Yeah.
Which is a Swedish tradition for like, I don't know what we should have for this birthday party. I just have sockerkaka,
Sockerkaka is super gott.
It is nice.
It's super nice.
But it's super, super common.
It's like the basic tier. It's like it's an awesome cake, but it's like super basic.
It's like something
that it was
everyone
a long
can do.
Time.
Yeah.
It was a long time ago.
Which made that scene even more seeing like it was just spontaneous, like he just needed to grab something.
Yeah.
And out of all the things he could give her, like
Sockerkaka.
in a cake form, it was a sockerkaka.
Yeah.
It was just more funny. Yeah. But so if I would give this movie a score from 0 to 5, I would give it I'm trying to not think of the Swedish part, because the movie is more enjoyable for us because we're Swedish, I think.
Yeah, of course.
Because I was like sitting and pointing like, that's
relate.
Yeah.
Surströmming.
That's not real. That's real.
Potatis, såklart.
Yeah, I was sitting and waiting for the sill part.
Yeah.
We watched with the girl Emma.
Yeah.
And I said all the time like, where's the sill? This is not Midsommar. Where's the sill?
Yeah.
And then she actually gets like a raw sill. Yeah. I was like, yeah, there it is.
Yeah,
that was
the herring.
A funny scene.
Yeah, the herring.
Really
Is it a
herring?
Herring, yeah. Senapsillen is top tier though.
Mustard herring.
What?
You don't like it?
No, I don't.
They don't eat it.
No, neither me and Bella, my girlfriend.
I enjoy it.
Shout out.
Dude,
shout out. Bella Booze. That's my sister, bro.
yeah. She neither me or her likes pickled herring. Yeah.
I love it.
But so if I would give this movie a score, it would be 4 out of 5.
Okay, cool.
4 out of 5.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it's really on 4.5. Maybe it is, but like, I think it's a bit too long.
Okay.
The second part of the movie, like the second half, is supposed to be long.
Yeah.
Because it was so nice to just have these long moments, not forced or anything.
Yeah.
But the beginning part was a bit too slow.
Yeah,
So,
I think if you're gonna watch it a second time, you're not gonna feel like it's as long because it's like then you're
Exactly.
like you're more aware of the story because it's such a new kind of experience in a way in like cinema. Yes, I can say that. I think like that I can understand it because I felt the first time I watched it, I also felt that it was really long, but I still really enjoyed it.
Yeah. So so for my first viewing, I would give it a 4.
Yeah.
4 out of 5.
But you might change it when you look at it the second time.
Exactly. It will probably change.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to be as objective as possible.
Yeah.
But just because I like slower films that have a meaning behind, like an understanding of why.
There's a reason why it's long.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. I love movies that like really prepared into every single detail.
Yep.
And like movies that when you see it again, you find more and more and more and more. I like movies that translates a lot of psychological events and psychological happenings.
Yeah.
Like what do you call it? Stuff that happens to you,
Yeah.
the experiences.
Yeah.
That really puts you in the mind of people.
Yeah.
And of course, I love movies that inspire me and that I learn a lot from.
Yeah.
Oh, this movie inspired me again.
And this movie hits everything in my book. But I'm
You're being a bit picky. You don't really want to give out a 5 out of 5.
Yeah. I'm not. I'm like trying to see it outside of my own eyes.
Yes. But it's your it's your rating.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
You can't
So
be
it's- so you
personal
need to
about
see
it.
it from your eyes.
I need to be personal. Tyvärr. What can I say more? Like I really enjoyed, because like this is not a horror film for me.
No.
This is not a scary film. This is a psychological horror.
Yeah. A psychological drama even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I love, and it's really something that I really wanna like experiment with.
Yeah.
Something that we have talked about of doing.
Yeah.
We're talking about writing a horror film together.
Yes.
Which is something I look forward to.
Yeah, me too.
This movie is awesome in all of those ways.
Yes.
And it's really like everything is put into perspective and everything is thought through.
Yeah.
And it's I don't think you can find anything that is not a single detail that is not awesome. Ari Aster has like one of the greatest type of setups for loss and experience of death.
Yeah.
And I think it's like his thing to make you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
In some way, but also make you feel really emotional.
Yeah.
And that's like a combination that I really enjoy.
Yeah.
And we watched his short film, like his,
The Strange Thing About the Johnsons. Yeah.
which is like a super weird film.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
Yeah.
Like you don't like there's so much and so little to say about that.
Yeah.
But it's awesome to see a director like experiment so hard with something, and try to be outside and be as original
as possible
to himself as possible, which is awesome.
Like he's being really personal and it shows.
Yeah,
like he shows what he thinks will work.
Yeah, and two of the greatest things, or like the top things that really matters for me in movies.
Yeah.
First of all, that it's personal, that the movie doesn't try to be anything else but itself.
Yeah.
And it's something that I've tried to explain.
Yeah.
But like, it's hard. It's hard to explain how can a film be personal? Well, I don't know how to say it, but sometimes movies are in the way of themselves.
Yeah.
And I think it has a lot to do with things not being thought through.
Exactly.
And the other thing is that it inspires me.
Yes.
And that I feel like I've taken something from it.
Yeah.
And hitting those two most important stuff
Yeah.
for me. I can't give it a 5 because it's not like, oh, greatest movie ever, you know. But it's probably like 4.7, 4.8.
Yeah.
Which is a lot.
Of course.
I can definitely see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably like one of my favorite horror films. Psychological, yeah, ever.
Cool. So yeah, well, I've talked a lot about this movie, and I've talked about, like, it clearly shows that I really like him, Ari Aster, for so long, because he's, as we said already, like, he's so personal with his movies. But it's so like there's like so many layers to this movie and the movies he makes, where he's like pinpointed like every detail, like he's left nothing to like left out anything in order to like, oh yeah, I forgot about this and this is the result. No, he planned everything and this is the result and this is what he has to show. Then not everybody understands it, but then maybe it's not for everyone to understand. And I think that feels like, if you're someone who actually enjoys his movies, it feels like you're really kind of connected with them. And I wanted to put in another aspect we was able to talk about during the actual discussion, but like another part of the isolation that adds to the movie, beyond the part where we talked about that they don't understand the language, is that they don't even understand what day it is, because it's always light outside. So they feel even more isolated because they're in an environment they don't recognize with nature, and then like the light, it's not like Mark freaks out immediately when they're on shrooms as he realizes that the sun should be down, but it's already up. It's still up, and it's not barely gonna go down anyway.
Which was a contender for my favorite quote.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
And by the way, sorry to going into a discussion again, and I told you that I love the picture when the camera is upside down.
Yeah, when they're going through the car.
Upside down phantom ride.
Yeah, that's one of the actual scenes that's a bit longer in the director's cut even.
Yeah, that scene is so powerful and so not like super good.
It kind of reflects how they're feeling, like they're upside down.
They're actually upside down.
Yeah. So yeah, like Ari Aster, you're great, but of course it's not the greatest movie ever made.
Hook up your boy.
Yeah, but I'm actually gonna give it 4 out of 5. 4.5. And the 0.5 part is actually because of Will Putney, who plays Mark. Because I think he's kind of in a way a comic relief character in this movie.
Yeah.
But he does it like so naturally. Like every phrase, like he's the most realistic dude I've never seen in a movie. Like you can laugh at all the jokes he does or the thing he says, but if I were him, I would probably react the same way. Or not in every situation, but that's how you think a person would react. And that's also one of the aspects of the movie that makes it so great, like how natural every actor. It doesn't feel like a character. It feels like that's how they would be. So 4.5 from me.
I really enjoyed Mark's character.
Yeah.
Because I'm a sucker for all the comic relief, the Joker characters. You know?
That's why. Also, that's why he's the fool. Because he's also like another part to this.
He was a doofus.
Yeah, and also because they do a dance earlier when they ask what kind of dance they're doing, skin the fool, and that's what he becomes. They skin off his face, and then put it on the oracle. Another layer to one of the many details of this movie.
I think that if I have any thing to say against this movie, or like to be like picky, I felt like Christian could have been like, I think his character, or not his character, but like the actor, could have been a little bit better. Yeah.
I think if you see the director's cut, you'll see him more, because you see more of Christian, and I think you understand his character a lot more. Not that you understand or relate to him, but you understand the way he
nature,
is.
Yeah. Because it sometimes it felt like it was lacking a little bit from him.
Because that's one of the, also you can say like some of the part of the movie is just walking around aimlessly with no direction really. So but with the added scenes, like you feel like okay, now you kind of understand him a bit more.
And also I didn't like the sudden change of his not acting, but the sudden change of character when he just said, I'm gonna do the same subject. Yeah. And then he became super obsessed about that subject.
I think in the director's cut that would make sense more.
Yes.
Or did it?
Yeah, I would say. because it's like you actually see him, because the thing is, after he decides to do it, you barely see him actually go into like actually studying for his thesis, but in the director's cut you actually see him do it. The thing is, because he has no aim in life, but then suddenly this opportunity shows up. So but I can actually think like it is actually in character, because it's so much in character, because he's so arrogant that he just pretty much picks the thing that Josh has been working on for such long, and he doesn't even care that Josh has been working on it, because like, yeah, I can choose whatever the fuck I want. I don't care about you. You can join me if you want to, but it really shows what kind of character he is. Like, he's super arrogant and he doesn't care about other people, really. He's just pretty much gonna put himself, and that's also one of the reasons that, like, there's no other character around during that scene, but that's one of the reasons why he gets sacrificed, because he is a beast the way he acts around other people.
But the thing is, like, the beast of, like, the bear beast thingy could be interpreted as, like, being a beast in a bad way, as you're saying. But it's also, like, the thing why they had the bear, because they didn't know that he's bad. They were planning to have as the guy that will, you know, have sex or, like, get them another kid.
Yeah.
He would cheat.
No, they did not really, because he was chosen.
Yeah, exactly.
He was chosen by her.
Yeah.
If they've chosen the other one.
Yeah, exactly. I talked to you about this.
Yeah.
She chose her, and him being arrogant and close-minded.
Yeah.
He just went with whoever, like, oh, she likes me, okay.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm talking about. He was chosen by Danny. She chose who was gonna be the sacrifice.
So
it's not. No. So she chose him. Because of the cheating, and that she felt like their relationship's not going to work anymore. So they might as well have put the other person who was volunteering as a tribute.
But they didn't.
No. They knew that they were going to, I'm sure they knew they were going to choose him, but it could have been the other person. So it didn't have anything to do with that he was that he like impregnated Maya.
Because it makes sense for me in a way.
Yeah,
like
it does in a way, because it's the beast that just follows
it's
the
like
instincts.
Masculinity,
yeah.
That was Film Talk number 22.
22, I think.
Yeah.
22.
Thank you so much, Jonas, for being here.
No worries, I'd like to come back sometime.
Yeah, it's awesome. I like to talk to you outside of this a lot. You're awesome to talk to. Like, we have a lot of discussions all the time about films and stuff.
And a never-ending discussion, so to speak.
Never ending. But I hope you enjoyed our talk.
Of course, I did.
And hopefully you will be here again, maybe with the next Ari Asters film.
Yeah, probably. I'm looking forward to that. You can expect me then.
Do you know what project he's working on next?
He's looking to make a sonky kind of comedy, I think. No, I think that's how he explained it, like sonky with the Z.
Did he give
but it's gonna be about head trauma. So because all his movies is about head trauma, so that's one of his main things that he also has it in all the movies. So we can at least expect that.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. You wanna clap us off?
Yeah. Can we do it at the same time so we're in sync?
Oh, all of us.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3.